The scent of sulphurous steam curled around the shadowed alcove of the Ember Shroud Tavern. Ivar Soren, clad in a coat stitched with reactor glass, clutched a rusted flask of black nectar and eyed the quartet across from him. Each one was death, incarnate, deadlier than orbital mines and twice as unpredictable. They had gathered here on Atraxia Prime for a single, unifying motive, the bounty, 3 nights ago. Word spread like plasma fire across the darknets. The Exarch of the Helion conglomerate wanted someone erased. The bounty, enough to terraform an entire moon. No questions asked, no survivors expected. But now, as Ivar observed their expressions beneath flickering neon glyphs, he saw something he hadn't expected: hesitation. "The mark is an Earthburn," Ivar said, sliding a crystalline dossier across the rust-riddled table. "Captain Elias Ward, age 37. Pilots a freighter named the Polaris Rift. He's crippled my trade fleet. He has to go." The first to inspect the file was Ruin, a Wormian from the Riftwalk sect. His dual pupils flitted over the details while his serpentine arms coiled tightly. A silent predator, Ruin had disassembled dynasties and vanished planetary governors like vapor trails. He placed the dossier down and slithered to his feet. "No," he rasped. "There are lines we don't cross." Without further explanation, he slinked into the shroud of smoke and chatter. Ivar's brow furrowed. "Wait, you haven't even heard the compensation." But Ruin was already gone. The second killer, an energy wraith named Talisar, skimmed the file without lifting a finger. She manipulated shadows, infiltrated vaults, and unraveled warlords with ease. But her gaze froze on Elias Ward's image. She dismissed the file and drifted upward. "Send someone expendable," she said, her voice flickering like static. "I do not hunt ghosts." Before Ivar could respond, she vanished into the power conduits above. The third figure, a crystalline hunter named Dox, stood without examining the file. He was from the Temporal Anomaly Guard, a lethal band that phased across time streams. Dox had never failed a mission until now. "No deal," he said in a voice that echoed in frequencies beyond normal hearing. And then, with a shimmer, he disappeared into a fracture in time. 3 rejections, all from killers without peer. Ivar's grip tightened on the table. The fourth and final assassin was Vrask, a techno-behemoth from the core singularity. Fused with dark matter and coded instincts, she stared at the data crystal but didn't touch it. "Careful, merchant," she warned. "There are some marks even we refuse." Without another word, she stormed out, her footsteps shaking the taverns. Steel floor. Only one remained. N.Y. Ross. He wasn't part of any order. He was a freelance harbinger whose name alone caused ship crews to abandon posts. 3 tyrants, 1 high inquisitor, and a celestial priest had fallen by his hand. Nyros lifted the data crystal, scanned it thoroughly, then smiled. It was not a pleasant smile, it was the smirk of a storm enjoying its own destruction. "You want me to kill an Earthburn?" he asked. "Yes. He's costing me quadrants of cargo," Ivar said. "His trade lanes are sinking our profits." Nyros's eyes glinted. "I've slain silicon pharaohs and vaporized sentient suns, but I've never taken a contract on a human. Do you know why? Because they're weak." Ivar ventured. "No," Nyros growled, leaning in so close Ivar could see the plasma veins in his cheek. "Because they're relentless." He leaned back, voice colder than cryosleep. "When you kill one human, you enrage all of them. Remember, they retaliate. They make war personal." Nyros stood, towering above the merchant. "Years ago, an assassin like me took out a human girl. Just a scientist. Harmless, no bodyguards." He gestured to the dark outside the window. 3 years later, her father burned 100 star systems. That assassin's guild, gone. Wiped from history. Her father, a simple trader named Elias Ward. Nyros turned to leave. "You want vengeance? Find someone else to sign your death wish. We may be killers, but we're not fools. Then he was gone, across Atraxia Prime. The underworld echoed with a chilling phrase, never take a human contract. 20 years ago, deep within a research facility orbiting Arios Theta, a young woman named Aria Ward cataloged alien spores with delicate care. She was studying their adaptability to zero-gravity environments. She had no idea she was being hunted. A mercenary known only as Vask crept through the station's oxygen ducts. He was the latest prodigy of the now-erased Sable Order. His method was undetectable poison. His target, Aria. She died quietly over her morning tea. The toxin mimicked cardiac arrest. Clean, untraceable, routine. Vask celebrated that night with his peers. Another contract completed. Easy credits. No consequences. He underestimated Elias Ward. The father received the news while docked at the Aegis outpost. The med officer gave him the standard condolences. Heart failure. Very sudden, no pain. Elias said nothing. His silence was a warning the universe failed to heed. After the funeral, he contacted his old handler from the Earthburn reconnaissance. Front, Commander Lina Voron. I need every file you have on the Sable Order. Why, Elias? She asked. Because justice has a long memory. The 3-year campaign that followed would later be known only in hushed voice as the Ember Reckoning. Elias didn't wage war. He hunted, methodically, one assassin at a time. Vask was first. Elias found him on a pleasure colony living under an alias. He dosed the air system with the same poison that killed Aria. You thought humans forgive. Elias whispered, but we remember. By the 2nd year, the Sable Order had lost half its operatives. The rest fled to a hidden fortress. On Ixion Prime. Elias arrived alone. The facility's defenses failed without explanation. Its AI corrupted. Its sentries blind. The last security footage ever recovered shows Elias walking calmly down the corridor. Inside the command chamber, the Order's leader, a psychopathic seer named Cole, begged for mercy. Elias stared into his 4 eyes. Did you show my daughter mercy? Then the screen goes dark. When it was over, the Order no longer existed. Back in the present, aboard the Obsidian command vessel, Obsidian Fang, Ivor Soren fumed in his quarters. For assassins had refused, all because his mark was human. But soldiers, he thought, soldiers understood. He summoned Captain Vornax of the Iron Teeth Mercenary Battalion. Towering and armored, Vornax accepted the job without hesitation. Humans or not, he feared no prey. Elias Ward was spotted heading to our EC-5 orbital docks for repairs. The Iron Teeth got there first. They bribed the dock master, sealed off corridors, and cloaked themselves in anticipation. 40 elite soldiers against 1 merchant captain. As the Polaris Rift docked, Elias grew suspicious, too quiet. He muttered to his pilot, Zara. Elias exited to meet the repair chief. Halfway down the corridor, he froze. Shops were shuttered. No technicians. Just the sound, distant but unmistakable, of synchronized boots. He tapped his comms. Zara, keep engines primed. We're not staying. The ambush came fast, 3 directions, converging like a scissors blades. But Elias Ward had not been a simple freighter captain for decades. Before trading routes and cargo manifests, he was the strategist who planned the Ember Reckoning. And now, history was about to repeat itself. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The Iron Teeth struck hard as stun. Rounds rained down. Shockwebs coiled through the air like lightning made solid. But Elias Ward moved like a relic from war stories the kind soldiers whispered about. When the lights dimmed in the barracks, he dove behind a blast shield crate, slipped a microgrenade from his coat, and rolled it under the first squads. Exosuits. The blast didn't kill them. Elias wasn't a butcher, but it disabled their neural sync. Iron teeth fell twitching to the floor, screaming as their implants rebelled. Zara's voice crackled in his earpiece. 15 more inbound. I'm locking bulkheads to slow them. Good, Elias replied, adjusting his jacket. Don't prep the jump yet. You planning to die here? No, he said. I'm planning to teach them. Vornax burst through the blast doors, roaring, dual cannons raised. Ward, Elias looked calm. Calculating, Captain Vornax. I read your record. You once flooded a lunar colony's oxygen supply with nerve gas. Vornax grinned. And I'll do worse to you. Elias' hand tapped a hidden console in the wall. Every light in the corridor shifted to red. The ceiling panels dropped, revealing mounted emitters old Earth tech. Relics modified from his time during the reckoning. The emitters fired a pulsing electromagnetic wave. Vornax's armor seized. His weapons froze mid-blast. Sparks erupted from his joints. You should have studied history, Elias said, walking past the paralyzed merc. He didn't look back. This isn't just a trade.